Hi everyone, welcome to Wednesday Wealth
building.
Building.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm a little distracted because Coco's here with us, my little pup. Anyway, so we are here to help you. This is Janna and Naz, your local lender here in Las Vegas and your local realtor here in Las Vegas. We're here to assist you with building wealth for your family and for your future as well. So we are here because last week we got a great question from Karen. Unfortunately, the video was not able to upload. We're not even sure what happened in the whole process. But Karen, we're going to answer your question again. So basically, your question was regarding how to get to the next stage of purchasing your second home. I will let Janna explain the whole heat lock process really quickly, so then we can move on to the next questions that we received during the week.
Yeah, this is an exciting topic for me. It's something that I've done personally in my life and helped grow my own rental portfolio. So if you don't have savings, you can, and you already own a home, we can look at the option of using a home equity line of credit, often referred to as a HELOC as an acronym, that allows you to take out the cash equity that you have in your home currently today, and then use that money to place it as a down payment and closing costs. It's usable for either on a next home. And in that scenario, an option is to rent out the home that you currently live on and move up to your next step, leaving a cash flowing asset rental behind you, and then moving on to your next home. And Naz and I have talked about
equity.
Before. Yeah,
Correct.
Building equity, building wealth, building cash flow. And you don't start out at your dream home.
Correct.
As we've talked about from the first series, right? Is just that one next step, the one next step. And it's a really simple, easy way to do it. We have a solution that we can fund you within 5 to 7 days.
Yeah.
Super simple.
Yeah, and a lot of people assume just because they own a home, they have to sell it to purchase the next home. You do not have to sell it. I'm going to be that agent that talks you out of selling because I'm all about wealth building. I'm all about generational wealth. I want you to use that first home as an investment property, and then let's say, God forbid, you have medical issues or you need the fund for your kid's wedding, college funds, or anything like that. You can sell that home at that point and pay off whatever their wedding reception or their medical or their university schooling. So it's always beneficial to keep growing your portfolio. We will take you through the process and help you with that.
Yeah. And you can also choose, if assuming you've paid back your HELOC, which is a line of credit that kind of waives, you load it up to you buy an asset and then you pay it down. Even if that HELOC is closed out because they are timed structures, you can do another HELOC tax-free.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then pay for a wedding.
A lot of people don't know that information,
Yeah.
and that's why we encourage people to always reach out to your lender.
Yeah.
You want that kind of knowledge, and also if you have a tax accountant that specializes in real estate or CPA. All of those people have wealth of knowledge. Like, don't just go on Google and start Googling things because each state is different. Different regulations, different bylaws and stuff like that. So don't just assume, you're living in California and your rules and regulations are totally different from what we have here in Las Vegas, Nevada. So I would highly recommend you to have, your, I call them my wealth building buddies, because I have my Janna. Whenever I have questions, I reach out to her. I have my tax person. I reach out to any real estate questions. Sometimes I don't even know that information. And then CPAs, they help you as well. So I would suggest you to have that prior to even taking the next step. Because if you go out purchasing 10 homes, then when it comes time to selling one, you could be paying a lot in capital gains.
Yeah.
So it's just a lot of things. So first step, yes, to own your first home. And then second step would be getting a heat lock or basically building up equity, saving up money and stuff like that, and purchasing your second home. And your first home would be a rental property where income is coming in. So it will actually be beneficial for you.
Yeah.
So Karen, I hope that answered your question. Sorry we weren't able to upload the video from last week, but we wrapped it up and presented it to you this week. The other question I did get during the week was about 1031 exchange.
Yes.
So
1031 exchange is my favorite investor tool.
Yeah.
There were conversations in the past year about the administration trying to do away with this really wonderful tax shelter that we have in place right now. So if you have an investment home that you've been renting out, and again, talk to your tax advisor about how long you have to own the home and how long you've been renting it out and what sort of proof they need to turn into the federal IRS department, right? But that 1031 exchange allows you to sell the home, and instead of paying, 25% possibly in cap gains depending on your income, you can shelter yourself from it by then taking the proceeds of, let's say, a single family. I have a single family that eventually I want to sell because it's not an ideal rental. It was a house I wanted to live in, and then I found the house a block away that I really wanted to live in. So I've got this rental. I'm going to sell that home, 1031 exchange it, and then I want to buy a fourplex.
Yes.
With that money.
Yes.
But because it's an investment and the federal government still allows this tax sheltering, you can move the money wholly. You do have to use a 1031 exchange moderator or mediator that just makes sure everything goes smoothly for you. And when the IRS is involved, I always want everything to go smoothly and to have an extra set of eyes on it. So I think it's a benefit.
Yeah.
But it's never
and it is a time sensitive. So once you sell that property, let's say I end up listing the property, I right away tell you, okay, if you're doing a 1031 exchange, you have to talk to these people.
Yeah.
It's my job to sell your property and get you to your next home. I don't go into the details of 1031 exchange because there's so many regulations, once again, that keep changing.
Yeah.
So I always encourage people, I'm like, hey, these are my contacts, reach out to them and they would answer your questions. Yeah. But you do have a time period, so it's very time sensitive. So as soon as you do a 1031 exchange, you close on your home, you have a 30-day period, 30 to 60 days, give or take, it keeps changing, to basically lock into your next home.
Yeah.
And then once you have, you basically are good to go. But the investment property, it has to be an investment property. It has to be rented out. You cannot move into it. It cannot be a primary property. If at that point you're doing that, then it is like a capital gain and it does not go under the 1031 exchange. So that was a question I got basically last week about the 1031 exchange and the capital gains. So capital gains is basically, let's say you purchase a house and you live in the house for a year, and then you purchase another house and then you rent that property, correct? And then 5 years go by and you're like, okay, Naz, I'm ready to sell this home. What's going to happen is you would have to pay the capital gains on the homes, because within 5 years, definitely there has been capital gains. So let's say you bought the house for, I'm giving an example, $500,000, and in 5 years it's gone up to $700,000. So you would be taxed on the $200,000. Well, technically you wouldn't be taxed on the $200,000 because it would be taxed on the gains that you would make. So the net amount, and it would depend on the percentage. But if you lived in the house for, let's say, 3 years, and then you move out within the 5-year process, so 2 years you rented it out, then you don't need to worry about the capital gains, because your residency, you have to live in the property for a minimum of 2 years out of the 5 years.
Yeah,
2 out of 5 in order not to pay capital gains. So please, before you purchase another property, before you do anything, always, I highly recommend you to talk to your real estate agent. You're more than welcome to reach out to me. And if you're out of state or anything, I would connect you to the right agent who has the knowledge, who can direct you correctly. I don't want you guys to constantly, purchase property and not do the things correctly. Sorry, I'm going back into 1031 exchange because it's such a big
good tool.
It's such a big opportunity, but at the same time, if you don't do it correctly, you're not going to be able to use the benefits. So the person was basically had a property, primary property, they rented it out, moved on to another primary property. So that original property became an investment. The investment, they didn't file the taxes correctly. So basically the renter was paying for rent, but they were not filing the rent as a annual tax, under their annual taxes. So when time came to sell, they could not do a 1031 exchange because they didn't do it correctly. Please, please, please do things correctly. If you're trying to be sneaky or anything, trust me, the government will find out. So best to reach out. Best to reach out to your Coco wants to say hi. Best to reach out to your realtor, your lender, your CPA, or your tax accountant to assist you with the whole process.
I love that. It's the forward planning.
Planning, correct.
Because you're not talking about, hey, I'd like to be wealthy for 1 month. You're trying to take the right steps using people that want to help you, put you on the right path, and make the most of what you have to work with.
Correct.
And trying to take shortcuts, honestly, it just doesn't pay off. So just do it right, do it legally, do it correct. And there's super smart ways to just stay in line, stay out of trouble, and just do the right thing. Doing the right thing always pays off.
Yeah. And there's nothing as like, oh, I can go back and do it, and I can do... No. Do it right the first time. Don't try to be sneaky.
Yeah.
If you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask any real estate questions, lending questions.
Yep.
If we don't know the answer for it, we'll definitely talk to an expert, or we'll try to bring them on every Wednesday and have the same live conversation with you guys, because we want to educate as much as we can. We're all about wealth building, as I stated. I don't want any of my friends, family, followers, anything like that to be in struggle mode. I want you guys to be able to be like, okay, when am I going to build my portfolio? Yeah. So that's the end goal for both Janna and me, because we are doing that for us. So why aren't we doing it for you guys? So that's our goal. Yeah. Did you get any questions by any chance?
I really had one about the VA, which I think is really interesting. And if you know a veteran and they've already had a VA loan, they can do more than one. I have a gentleman right now, we're reviewing him for possibility that for a third loan, because his loan amounts are small. He doesn't live in the Vegas area, but we might be able to squeak in a benefit on a third. So always, it's just, I think it falls back to what I really want to say. Is there so much negativity out there about home buying right now, about prices are going to fall backwards. And Naz and I were talking earlier today about the last 80 years, really. And 73 out of the last 80 years, we've had positive gains. Yeah. Some of those were double digit. Yeah. It's amazing when you look at the data. And if you want to message us, I'll be happy to share the information that I have in a really easy to look at single sheet. But 73 of those years were positive gains on big amounts, guys. Yeah. So you can go in with very little down and purchase a home that's $300,000. If you make an 8% gain on $300,000,
you're good. That's
fantastic, right? And just rinse and repeat. Just keep living there, or move on and keep the tenant paying the mortgage. There's nothing like it.
And it's really funny, because usually I have buyers saying, oh my God, the interest rate's at 8%. Oh my God, the interest rate's at 6%. Oh my God. My explanation is, stop looking at the 8%, 7%, 6%. You are paying someone's mortgage right now at 100%. You are not going to see that 100% come back to you. Like not even 1%. So if you decide you want to buy a house, let's say you want to buy a house in the next 6 months, right now is the time for you to... Honestly, right now is the time for your opportunity, because there's less competition. People are so afraid about the interest rates. You purchase this home, you can actually negotiate on the pricing. A lot of people don't understand that. You can actually negotiate on prices.
Yeah. Use a 2-1 buy down.
Exactly. There's 2-1 buy down, 3-2-1 buy down. There's so many options. Lender, Janna, she knows there's so many options for so many of you to purchase right now. And then let's say in a year, if the interest rate does drop, you still have an opportunity to refi and drop it down. I've never understood when people are like, oh, no, the interest rate is too high. Rethink that. Look at the opportunity, because if you don't, you're not planning to sell the house within the next 5 years of owning it.
No.
We're all about wealth building. So you will have opportunities to rent it out and move on to better things.
Yeah.
So, or if you want at that point in 5 years, you want to sell it, fine, sell it. Use that equity and purchase a new home. you're not earning any equity, leaving money in your bank.
Zero.
So,
or paying your landlord.
Or paying your landlord.
Yeah.
So
Zero.
please help me understand. I really, really want to understand, why aren't you jumping? Why aren't you excited at this opportunity? And keep in mind, the interest rate is actually stabilized right now.
Yeah.
I don't see it going back down to 3% where people are like, oh, we'll wait for it to drop. You'll be 80 years old by the time I doubt it, even if it would ever drop that low.
Projections are to 5.
To 5.
And possibly 4.
Yeah.
But we've
Not
got to
3
remember
or 2.
that
No.
it was a global pandemic.
Yeah.
During the time that interest rates were sub 3.5 and high 2s. It was a really unique time frame.
Yeah.
Where we were having a recession of sorts.
Yeah.
But kind of an economic shutdown.
I do want to bring,
By
okay,
choice.
yeah, exactly. A lot of people don't understand. Back in 2007, the whole recession happened because in 2000, I would say from early 2000 to like 2007 even, lenders would blindly approve you.
I wasn't in
not
I wasn't
not
in
her.
that.
I mean,
I was
like,
a realtor.
Yeah, like I'll never forget. Someone I knew literally lost their job, and they still got approved to purchase a home worth $600,000. And so you really have to think why the market crashed. It wasn't crashed because of anything other than the fact that the lending process wasn't done correctly.
And supply and demand.
And supply and demand,
we had way too many housing units.
Exactly.
For household formations. How many people were buying. Yeah, those two things together were lethal.
Yeah.
And if you look at the last 60 years of recession data,
Yeah.
the only time housing prices go backwards in a recession period or inflationary, recession period is that window of time, 2007 to 2011, where we were really just paying the price of people who
weren't doing their job correctly.
Weren't doing the right thing.
Yeah, and they're probably not
everybody
they're probably not even in the business anymore.
No,
so
they didn't have to. Lenders didn't have to be licensed back then either.
There you go.
So you didn't have to pass a test. You didn't have to have an ethics exam. You didn't have to be verified to do the right thing and have legal repercussions if you weren't doing the right thing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to work in the industry, even though, I still feel like I am a candle, that I do the right thing and I want to help people and I want to encourage people and I love what I do, but I think it would be very difficult to work in a group that didn't do the right thing. So people were putting down zero money on loans. They'd get money at closing. They'd have a sub 580 FICO, which is just difficult. We need to work on your financial responsibility and solvency, and let me help you with that if you want to be a homeowner. But when you are, a 495, putting you in a home, that's not the right thing to do. Let's make sure you're ready. We are your guides. We're going to make sure you're ready. So stuff like that was going on. It was an anomaly.
I agree. And the thing is that so when I meet with you, I actually tell you, we're not going out to look at a home till you actually speak to a lender and get pre-approved.
Yeah.
Not pre-qualified. Very big difference. We explained that last week too. Pre-qualified is basically you just giving in basic information, your credit scores, not even your last 2 years of tax record, nothing. It's just based on your credit score and kind of very general information.
It could be a stated credit card.
Yeah. But the pre-approval is what I work with all my clients, is because I don't want you to waste your time. I don't want to waste my time. If you're serious about buying, fine, let's sit down, let's talk shop. Yeah. But if you're just I want to see what I can purchase at this price, blah, 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 I'm okay, I'm not the right agent for you, because the way you, if I take you and you're only qualified for $600,000, and then you start sending me homes at $1 million, I know you won't be qualified for that. So that's why I want you to get pre-approved. So then that way we both are working off the same thing, because I don't want you to fall in love with the $1 million home and then every single home that's around your price budget you cannot afford.
Put it on your vision board though.
Exactly. Put it on your vision board.
Yes.
So we're going to do the first step.
We're going to get you there.
Yeah. We'll do the first step of getting you to a house, and then in the next few years you can, work your way and use the HELOC from this current home to purchase your dream home or your secondary home. But you have to understand the pre-approval is the crucial point, because your credit score goes, your tax records, everything. And then Janna would be able to provide that for me. As soon as I review that, I create the search, and then we go out and preview homes.
Yeah.
So that way we both are not wasting anyone's time, or all three of us basically.
Yeah, and it's setting that right expectation and doing the right thing again, right? I feel like that's the theme of the week, but it's to make sure that you really know what your monthly payment's going to be when you're in that home, because getting, going on tours and falling in love with the pool is great, but when the monthly bill comes, we want to make sure that you are, going to turn the light on again, comfortable with that payment and happy living there, because if you're strapped once you get in there because you thought, oh my gosh, the payment was going to be lower, it's not fun. And we don't want that for you.
No.
So if you're working with a lender and you're out shopping, if you're not working with Naz and myself, just make sure that as rates fluctuate and you're in the pre-approval, if you haven't found your home and you're not locked in yet, because that can happen, just make sure that they're updating you. Like, hey, I know rates kind of moved up this week. Yesterday moved down a little bit. But
yes, they did.
It was good. Yeah. So as they fluctuate, let's just make sure that you're still comfortable and everybody's on task.
Yeah,
doing the
exactly.
right thing. Yeah.
And then that way we're not stressed at closing when you see the settlement statement and you're like, oh my God, Naz, this is how much I'm paying per month.
Emotion should be excitement, enthusiasm.
Exactly. That's why before we even go out, I'm like, okay, this is the breakdown. If you go for this price range, this is how much you're going to basically be paying per month. And I'm sure Janna does the same thing.
Yeah, when you get it dialed in. And the last couple.
We want you to be excited.
Yeah.
We don't want you to be stressed.
No.
So that's our whole, I guess, game plan or point of getting you to the next step.
Yeah, do it right. Put in the work.
Yeah.
But that when we say put in the work, it's really the same amount of work for you to work with somebody that doesn't do the work that we do, It's just really the same 4 documents. We talked about it last week, but basic income documents, identification, so easy. And then let Naz and I do our work so you're really well prepared.
Yeah. So the thing that she would have to do to pre-approve you is to make sure that there's no child support, bad credit, bankruptcy.
Yeah, surprises. Amended taxes.
Yeah. Like if you purchase a car, good luck buying a house.
Yeah, I always tell people if we're buying a house and you need to go car shopping because things happen. Yeah. People have accidents. Yeah. People, whatever. If you are going to go car shopping, just call me and I'm going to talk you through it. Basically, we want to monitor how many times they pull your credit. Yeah. Because at auto dealers, and who doesn't love auto dealers, right? They're good people. But they have multiple financing companies. They could be 5 or 6. So when you're working on your pricing structure, they can run your credit 6 times. Mm-hmm. It feels like 1 to you, but they've run it 6 times. And when you stack up 18 in a day on a Saturday shopping 3 different dealers, it can have an impact on your score. Yeah. And we just don't want to protect you from those little silly things. Yeah.
And like another thing not to do, basically the day of your closing or anytime you're under contract or been wanting to buy a house, don't go out purchasing a new car. Talk to Janna.
Yeah.
Please don't go. Yeah. I had an incident where a buyer wanted to gift his wife on the day of closing a brand new car, and they didn't get approved. So we had
buying sounds great in that scenario. That was before we worked together.
Yes, way before. Yeah, and no, and he had to go back, talk to the dealership, return the car. We had to do a 1-week extension. Everything was fine. We ended up closing on their dream home. Yeah. And then he went back and purchased the car, I think a week or 2 weeks later. I don't know what happened, but I was just like, I explained to you not to do that, and you still did that. So it's very, very, very important, guys, before you do anything like, paying off your credit card bill lump sum or anything like that, talk to Janna. Don't be like, oh, I want to buy a house, so I'm going to start paying these, lump sums off. Yep. Sometimes that can be a hit as well. So just talk to Janna, get explanations and what you should do.
Yeah, because if you're buying a home and you're acquiring a mortgage, your cash access is limited, right? Yeah. Otherwise, you would just be buying a cash. So when we have a finite amount of money to work with for this particular closing, we really can just fine tune the most benefit to your FICO score with what money we have. And strategize like, hey, no, just leave that debt, it's fine, and we'll put that towards down payment and closing costs instead. It's just little tweaks that can make it so much more fun for you as a buyer along the way when we look at it as a team ahead of time and go in with the strategy.
Yeah. Now, the other question that we had was regarding new home purchase. Keep in mind with new home purchases, you can still choose your own lender. You do not have to go with their in-house lender. Their in-house lender might give you better rates, might give you a whole bunch of stuff, but it's better to get options. And that's why I always tell my buyers, if you want to go look at new home builds, I would love to help you with that. But let's talk to a lender, Janna.
Yeah.
You can still talk to their lender as well. See who can get you the best rates. You want to look at the long-term picture, not the short-term. If they're just doing, 3-2-1 buy down, it's very short-term. It's not basically a long-term. So they might offer an arm. They might offer like a whole bunch of stuff, but it's best to get, like, I guess Janna's opinion, get another lender's opinion before going into a new home build and going that route.
They might offer an FHA.
Yeah.
That a client doesn't need, and then they can't close it.
Yeah.
Yeah, things like that. Well, I'm a resource. I'm always a resource to Naz.
She saved one of my deals. So I'll tell you I'll give you a quick story. One of my sweet buyer, love him to death.
I know.
Poor guy, he was just like, I'm ready to go purchase a house, this, that, and I'm like, perfect. He wanted to go with the in-house lender, even though I introduced him to Janna and stuff. He's like, no, I want to go with the in-house lender.
It was
After, yeah.
That's why.
And so he goes under contract with the in-house lender, and so the lender basically was having a conversation with him. And anytime I tried to get a hold of the lender, I was not able to. So finally, my buyer ended up telling the lender, hey, you need to talk to my agent because she has questions. So I ended up talking to the lender only to find out that he put my client under an FHA, even though I kept saying through emails to do conventional because I knew it was not FHA approved condos. It was only conventional VA and cash. So I was very clear on my email, but still that lender from that new home builder decided to put my client under FHA. We were supposed to close in March. We did not close till June. And the only reason we closed in June was because I told my buyer, this lender is not going to work. We need Janna on board. And I ended up reaching out to the new home builder, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. I stated my point in email, detailed, bold, highlighted, capitalized, you name it. And then they agreed to work with Janna, and Janna was able to close, I think, in 17 days. Yeah. In 17 days, guys, their lender could not perform. And in 17 days, Janna did. Yeah. So it's best to... Personally, it's best to work with Janna than their in-house lender because their in-house lender has like 400 to 700 files that they're closing versus Janna is like, she has her files, but you're not just a number. You're not a lot number. You're not lot number 76, lot number 82. You're actually, I'm just putting a name out there, Robert.
Yes.
Or Jackson.
Yes.
So that's what I'm trying to say to you. Like, she will pick up the phone and actually talk to you. When I was trying to get a hold of that lender, he was avoiding me till my buyer ended up reaching out to him being like, hey, answer my agent's call. Yeah. So
that's not the way we do business.
No.
You just have to stay in communication. Yeah. Be a partner, be part of the team. Correct. And get everybody to the end goal that they'd like, which, for that gentleman was keys in his hand. And we were able to do that really quickly. And
he was so grateful at the end of it. He's like, Janna, why weren't you in my life earlier? And I'm like,
I know. But
you wanted that lender.
It's that product, right? It's that product. It's not, there's mortgages across the board that can be tailored to fit exactly what your goals are. And that's what we love to find is not only, Naz finds you the physical house or the land or the condo, and we'll all find the perfect lending product. So we're looking for doing the right thing, finding that perfect fit, and just lighting up your life.
Correct.
And moving it forward.
In Las Vegas, we have so many different options for different kinds of home loans that you would qualify for. Mm-hmm. You would most likely qualify for that you had no idea you would. So it's best to reach out to a lender, and even if it's like 6 months from now or like a year from now, at least start. And if your credit score is not the best, or you have questions about it or anything like that, still reach out to Janna. She has people who will clean up your credit score and who will help you build your credit. So a best step is always prior to doing anything is reach out to your lender, Janna. Or you can reach out to me as well if you have any questions. Like if you're like, oh, Naz, I would specifically want to purchase in this area, I'd be like, okay, perfect. We can start previewing this area. But once again, I need Janna.
Yeah.
So we can get through the process that way. We have 3 more minutes left. Guys, do you have any questions? I see a whole bunch of people watching the video and waving at us. So if you guys have any questions, we're still here.
Well, we kind of have an announcement.
Yeah.
Right? So
we do have an announcement.
There's economic data coming out on Friday that if you want to follow me on Instagram, Janna, your lender, I will be posting.
I will tag her in this video as well. Yeah.
Some consumer data is coming out. And I'm hopeful that interest rates are going to be backtracking soon. Of course, we don't know. But it's just...
I lost my crystal ball.
Lost the crystal ball. But we can always fall back on historical data that I'm always happy to share, too. So we are going to start a budgeting class, which is TBD for scheduling. But a home buyers class where we walk through how Naz presents offers, how she helps you negotiate. What else are we?
Everything. So I'll just give you a quick update. So every other realtors have been reaching out to me. They're like, how are your offers getting accepted? How are you getting your clients under contract? Yeah. And I just tell them the simple fact. I call the listing agents. That's my job as your buyer's agent. It's not just me writing up an offer and submitting it. It's me building that relationship with that listing agent. It's me understanding what that seller is looking for. I like doing it as a win-win situation. It's not like me trying to call the listing agent to see, can I get more information so I can get a lower rate or lower purchase price or anything. No, that's not the reason why I reach out to the listing agent. I want to find out what is going on with the seller. Why are they choosing to sell? Do they need it for medical funds? Are they selling because they want to move to Florida and they need that right amount of money or that net that they are looking for to purchase their next home? So we need to figure out what they're looking for. I do not want to waste, again, anyone's time. Because if I just write an offer blindly, not knowing what the seller is looking for, not knowing what their grounds are, or if they have multiple offers, then it's just basically wasting time. So I get my offers accepted because of that reasons. I find out the truth. I find out the information. Sometimes the listing agent truly has not probed and asked enough questions to the sellers. So they're like, oh, that's a good question. Let me ask them. And I'm like, you know what? Take your time. Let me know. And then during that time, do you have any offers? They say, no, we don't currently. And I'm like, perfect. So find out that information and let me know. And then once they bring back that information, I let you know as a buyer. And then I write up my offer. And my offer is very clean and it's always a win-win situation. I don't try to, I don't like playing games either way. So I'm very direct. I'm very upfront with everyone in the transaction and set expectations from upfront. And that's why my buyer's offers get accepted. My buyers fall in love with the house and they are like, thank you so much. And I keep getting referrals for that reason. So writing offers it depends in this market right now because it's slower. But when it was back in 2020, 2021, 2022, I was getting clients under contract because of that. So it's best to build that relationship. But we are definitely going to talk about that in our next session as well. Yeah. And then our announcement that we have, a big announcement.
Yeah, was November. It's on a Saturday. So if you work Monday through Friday, it should be really easy for you to join us. We're going to do a home buying seminar. Become the Landlord is the title. There's no way. It is December, you guys.
Sorry, it's December.
I am so sorry. It's December.
December 2nd.
I'm not mentally prepared to talk about December. It's October, but we had some. I have to travel for work, and Naz has to travel, and so it is December 2nd on a Saturday. Please join us on. We'll do an Evite. Yeah. So it'll be a Zoom course that you can dial into. It'll be a smaller setting, so I know I'm not comfortable asking questions on live. I get it, but in the little Zoom course, you'll have more one-on-one time with us, and we'll be able to answer any unique questions via chat, or you can follow up with us via email.
And
but
if you
love
don't,
to have you guys there.
yeah, and if you would like to join us on the Zoom call on Saturday, December 2nd, it's from 11 to 12. We're going to do it for 1 hour.
Pacific Standard Time.
Yes.
Yep.
Just in case you guys don't
Gotta
know,
get that
Las
right.
Vegas Standard Time.
I missed the month that I'm going to get
Yeah.
this.
And just make sure, you guys put in your email address in the comment section, and we will add you guys to the Evite. It's Evite only, so if you guys are interested, please put in your email address and we will send you the invite, and then we'll see you guys on December 2nd for the buyer workshop, and it's from 11 to 12. But we will see you every Wednesday with your Wealth Building Wednesday with Janna and Naz.
Yeah, keep those questions coming.
Keep those questions coming,
It's been
okay?
so good.
Yes. Take care, guys.
All right, bye, everybody.
You want to turn it off?
Yeah, sure.